Nature. It's where the smallest things can broaden my perspective, where I can just be. But not all people of color have the same relationship with the outdoors. For many Black and brown people, the outdoors is historically complex in these United States. So I'm making this show to bring other people of color outside and to experience familiar places from a new perspective.
My name is Alice Lynn, and today we are filming the pilot for my show Color Out Here.
I'm heading north along Michigan's west coast for an outdoor adventure, and I've invited some awesome leaders of color, and only one has experience outdoors. All right, she's pretty much an expert. Shay Mohan specializes in leading outdoor expeditions, specifically for people of color to build community in nature and redefine their relationship with the outdoors. I also invited David. He's never canoed or camped, but he leads a research department at Grand Valley State University, and he's an expert in how spaces influence identity.
We've also got Daryl Ross. We're waiting on Daryl still. Daryl is coming through with the large Sprinter van, and we're really excited about it.
What did you call that? A Springer van?
Sprinter?
That's a house on wheels. That's like a studio apartment.
This is Daryl. He runs a business incubator and is a successful entrepreneur. I would argue that he's the least outdoorsy of us, but yet he's agreed to try some new experiences on camera.
Welcome. Another shot. Thanks.
Excited to ride it.
Nice.
I know, right?
That's way bigger than I thought it was going to be.
First up, we're driving from Grand Rapids to the Manistee River, 190 miles of clean, cool water and one of the best recreational waterways in the Midwest. It's a little over an hour drive, so it's the perfect amount of time for some good conversation.
So this is kind of out of your comfort zone then, right? Because based on the reaction, people assume you wouldn't want to do stuff like this. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and I'm a germaphobe, and I'm a city person.
Germaphobe? There's no germs outside, what do you mean?
I'm curious then, so like, if it's out of your comfort zone, why now? Why this thing? Why go?
Oh, I mean, because it's still fun. I mean, I still think it's fun. I think things out of my comfort zone is fun.
Okay. So you're trying to test your boundaries a little bit?
And relational-wise.
Gotcha.
You know, Alice asked me to come. So.
Okay.
So out of friendship and everything.
Yeah.
The Manistee River means different things to different people, which is why I'm excited to meet up with my friend Corrine Lewis. She's a member of the Little River Band of Ottawa Indians, the original people of this region.
This area right here by this Manistee River is in the Manistee National Forest, and this whole area from Lake Michigan and then back towards the east about 20 miles is Little River Band of Ottawa Indians reservation boundary. You know, historically, like this whole state was Odawa territory. I've only been canoeing on this once, and I have a story about that, but we should probably get on the water.
Before we get on the water, a word about Corrine's community. Little River Band are an Odawa band, which means people of the heart. Odawa, Ojibwe, and Potawatomi together make up the Anishinaabe people of Michigan. The ancestors of Little River Band settled along the Thornapple River, the Grand River, White River, Pere Marquette River, and the Big and Little Manistee Rivers. Speaking of rivers, Shay is ready to help us learn how to canoe on this one.
And pull it back and out.
Okay.
So it's really easy once you get in there to be like, it's in there, I'm doing a thing.
Oh, yeah, you want to
yeah. So
dig
it kind
in.
of takes some intention, right? And you will feel the resistance, and you'll see these little like swirly doos come off both edges. That's when you're like,
Okay.
Doing good. Yeah, and if you don't pull the oar back out, like straight, like up,
yes.
you're gonna be pushing back the opposite direction.
I see.
Yeah.
And it's,
Oh, so
it's
straight
like more
down,
Yeah.
come up.
exhausting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need anything more exhausting. not turn out right.
She will. She'll do you right.
I thought you meant walk outside the boat.
Just stay balanced. I got you. Oh, I'm a little less confident now.
I mean, I can help here too.
I think we're okay. It's going in easy.
Yeah. And then, like I said, you can use your oar.
Yeah, you good. Man, we so good. We about to run straight in the...
Beep, beep.
We set the standard, man, I'm just saying. See, don't mess around and get me liking this kind of thing. I might have to come out here again.
So another thing you can kind of do is like, if you shove or paddle into the water, it becomes like a pivot point almost.
Yeah.
So if you are like trying to get to speed, so like perfect.
Yeah, amazing.
The student becomes the student again.
As we paddle down the river, it doesn't take long for conversations to start flowing.
Yeah, we used to canoe a lot when I went to school at Haskell, all native college in Kansas. A whole group of us would go and we'd just canoe all weekend, and we loved it. But a couple of years back, there was a white guy that was working for my tribe's natural resource department. He said, "Hey," I have to go count turtles this weekend on the Manistee River. Do you want to go with me?" I was like, "Yeah, I love canoeing." There was a group of white people in some canoes, and they were all just drunk out of their brains. And they started yelling over, "Oh, look, it's Pocahontas and what's his face." And I was so pissed off, like, that they just, start right in with some, racial slurs and all of that I never came on this river again since then, until now.
These racial terms matter. For example, the term Redskins comes from when the U.S. government issued payment from $3 to $5 to those who murdered Native American men, women, and children. Even within my lifetime, several Michigan communities have stories of their people being killed over fishing rights.
It's peaceful.
I have a brother and two sisters and then one nephew, and he's 13 now. I just turned 13. He sits in the house all day. He plays video games and hangs out, watches TV. But I figured we live in Michigan, right? There's lots of stuff you should do outside. I feel an obligation to give that to him too, because nobody in my family does anything outdoors.
David's experience isn't unique. According to the Outdoor Foundation, African Americans are the least likely ethnic group to participate in outdoor recreation. 25% say it costs too much, but even taking finances out of it, 37% of African Americans say they're just not interested. And it's their lack of interest that I wonder about.
I can give some people I know a $100 bill, buy them dinner, bribe them, and they still wouldn't come out here for an hour. They still wouldn't come do it.
Legitimately too, because for every story of peace and calm, you have another story of somebody being harassed, or somebody not feeling comfortable, or so. I mean, but yeah, if this was an everyday thing, or if this is how quote unquote outdoors was, this would be cool.
And I guess that's the point of getting out here, to make everyone feel comfortable leaving the city so they can experience this. But we're starting to lose daylight, and we're going to need to grab some food before setting up camp on the shores of Lake Idlewild, a historically Black resort town since the early 1900s. I'll let the folks there tell you the history, but we have to hurry before it gets dark.
Right here. There's not so many rocks.
All right.
I'm a little tall for this, but I'll make it work, I guess.
Yo.
Constellation.
Since David didn't have a tent, our producer brought what the package said was a 2-person tent.
Sleep is overrated.
Unfortunately, the tent didn't specify if it fit 2 adult persons.
Like head to toe.
Feels that.
Put a pillow right there. I'd be okay. My face wouldn't be okay, but you know, I kind of survived the night with the mosquitoes. I'm a little tall for this, but I'll make it work, I guess. Whoa. I feel like I just got rich. Like I just hit the lottery.
Moving on up.
That's so wild. You know, where I come from, we can't stand up in our tents.
He's not too big for that one. Nope.
Look at that.
There's a little kid camping next to us.
Setting up a tent for the first time can be a fun challenge, but for some, the real challenge is leaving the safety of their community and trading the comfort of 4 walls for a nylon bag in the woods. But here we are, some of us for the first time, and all we have to do now is rest up for the day ahead.
You see, the funny thing is, I didn't realize that condensation can gather on the inside of a tent while you're sleeping in it at night when it's cold outside. And when you're in a baby-sized tent and your head's pressed up against the side of the tent and your feet are pressed up against the other side of the tent, if you move, it'll just like slick across the side of your face. But now I know. I know that now. That's a thing that I know.
Is that a good wake-up call?
Yeah. Except that it happened at 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and like 5 minutes ago when I got off the tent, so. But that, me and that tent have been through some stuff now. And I appreciate that tent. That's my first tent. So yeah, it's a good day. It's a good night. Kobe.
I'm taking a moment to enjoy the beauty of Idlewild in the early morning. And I'm thinking about how canoeing with Kareen changed how I experience the Manistee River.
I'm really grateful to her and the other people who came on this trip who were able to help create
that sense of community on the river yesterday. We were already part of a community and will continue to be part of that community. But this creates, I don't know, I guess a closer relationship, and I think it also helps to create a community that spreads and engages in spaces outside of the city where we all do the work that we do. After a little bit of reflection, I want to learn more about Idlewild. So I head over to meet Blair Evans and Susan Matus. They own the Morton's Hotel and run Experience Idlewild, an economic development organization fostering a new generation of Idlewilders.
Do you two want to maybe start by introducing yourselves?
I'm Blair Evans. Family's been a part of the Idlewild community. I think my grandparents started coming up here in the 20s. So I've got a couple of generations behind me.
I'm Susan Matus. I'm Blair's partner. I've been coming up with Blair probably 13 years now. Traditionally was our vacation place to come and relax and enjoy the lakes and play. And then the last couple years we started managing, running, owning the Morton's Motel here.
Can you, I guess, maybe dig a little bit deeper into your experience of what it was like being young here and just sort of witnessing that arc?
African Americans were restricted from, free travel, free commerce in different areas. You made Idlewild what you would like it to be. But also during that time period, you always were, I wonder how everybody else is living. I mean, it's got to be a natural curiosity. There must be fantastic things happening over there that we don't have access to. So, in the late 60s, when it became the case that it was not illegal, you may be disinvited from places, but you could not be legally excluded from places. Folks went to check out everything that they hadn't had an opportunity to do before. And it took a solid generation or two before a lot of people started looking back and kind of conveying that, yeah, you can kind of go any place, but you always feel like you're kind of walking around on eggshells in somebody else's place. You're always carrying some tension in your shoulders because somebody's going to say something stupid that you're going to have to correct. And so it's just a constant piece, and here it feels different. And so folks, it may not have the 5-star this and the 4-star this. However, it has something different that people are finding value in.
This value isn't just in peace of mind. Idlewild was an economic success story.
But there were very clever techniques that were used by people to be able to kind of have multiple people creating wealth within the community while still operating in a synergistic way. So the viability of the community as it increased was a fairly democratic process as opposed to a couple of concentrated points of wealth.
What Blair is talking about is money, literally. What was spent in Idlewild stayed in Idlewild. Today in America, $1 will circulate in the white community for an average of 17 days. But in the black community, $1 will only stay in black hands for an average of 6 hours. Still, it's deeper than economics here at Idlewild.
A professional who came up, African American from Detroit, very accomplished, who was here over the weekend, kind of enjoying himself. Nothing major happened. We went out on a boat, we went around, rode a bike or whatever. And, as he was leaving, he was almost kind of, misty-eyed. It's kind of, okay, so kind of, what's going on? And I mean, he conveyed that basically he had never been any place in his life where a group of African Americans were self-regulating, self-policing, self-supporting, proactively dealing with the situations of the day.
Some of the most meaningful, just quiet, special moments for me have been when people are just out on the lake and people are jet skiing and wakeboarding, and it's just, you're not the minority and everyone's having a great time. It's just a really special place.
Idlewild is a special place for its natural beauty, like its lakes and rivers and woods. and also for that sense of community that Black residents and visitors have fostered here for generations. I'm excited to get back to the group so we can bike around and explore Idlewild for ourselves. First stop on our route is the old Flamingo Club, a dance hall that saw the likes of Louis Armstrong, B.B. King, and Aretha Franklin in its heyday.
That's good stuff. Places like this, I feel like I can feel the weight of it sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
the amount of people that just walked through these doors, and this was like the place where they could feel safe and secure.
The Black Eden.
Yeah, right. I wonder who made up that name, because that's the name has some weight to it.
Absolutely.
Like, to pick that name means it was a very special place for people.
They said that there were a couple Odawa native families that still lived here during that time too.
Oh, cool. I wonder what that was like. I mean, you got two populations of people going through systemic inequality.
Yeah, I think we were fishing together.
Yeah, you know.
It's cool. It's all Black ownership too. They actually own the buildings. It looks like the land.
Oh, some of the best music too from that time.
Absolutely.
Next stop on our route is to the home of Dr. Daniel Hale Williams, who was among Idlewild's first residents and was one of the country's leading surgeons in the late 19th century.
So why does this piss you off, David?
I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I went through the PhD process and I know what it means to become a doctor and how hard that is. And this man did this in a time where, I don't know, like, it was hard for me to finish my doctorate. I can't imagine what it was like for him to do
In
it
the 1800s.
You know, he's born in 58, became a doctor, founded a hospital to train Black nurses and doctors, and in the state of Michigan, helped found this place. I went to school here almost my whole life and never learned about Dr. Williams ever.
Well, he was also appointed surgeon-in-chief by President Grover Cleveland too, and he's not, I didn't know about that. That wasn't in history, but they do the same thing to Black people as they do to natives. They do the same things to natives, you know, as they do to Black people, and they omit the good things about us in the history because they're the ones writing the history, right? We have to write our own history now because those are, like, he's an excellent role model for young minorities, right? And, you know, they don't know about him.
I always said Americans have a unique way of ignoring material fact in history, and this is kind of it.
Yeah, it seems like they're a big part of this community is bringing people together.
Right.
And that, in a way, is how you grew up knowing some of this history is because of those events and that intentionality to gather and share stories and share history. And that's a huge part of it, because especially when we're not the ones writing our history, so we have to get together to make sure that those stories are being shared and passed down and hopefully eventually becoming more
It shows the importance
in
of
focus.
why we need to run the spaces that we're in, or have more power to control. Yeah, when you don't have a say in the space that you're within, you can't create what's here.
Exactly.
But in Native law, we always consider the fact that every issue that we do not claim sovereignty on, we're losing it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of events, I can hear some really cool music happening in the background. Do y'all want to check out this music festival?
Oh,
For sure.
Yeah,
Let's go celebrate Dr. Williams.
Yeah.
Celebrating a man none of us had heard of before today, as a group, in a place where we can all be ourselves, is exactly what I set out to do. In the last 2 days, we formed a small community around canoeing on native waters, camping in a historically Black town, and then riding through the streets of history. And even after we go back to life in the city, now we share a narrative where we all belong outdoors and prove there really is color out here.
Support for Shaping Narratives comes from the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, a partner with communities where children come first.